People, I've got breaking news, so I'm getting this to you as soon as possible. Donald Trump's State Department, led by Marco Rubio, who himself has Cuban parents and a Colombian wife, has just expanded a massive global visa freeze, effectively banning nearly half of all legal immigrants from entering the United States from 93 countries. Over 40% of the globe now blacklisted. According to analysis from the Cato Institute, I'll include a link, this ban is tearing through the lives of U.S. citizens. We're seeing nearly 50% of spouses and minor children of American citizens, legal residents' own family, now barred from joining them. Imagine being an American, paying your taxes, and being told by your own government that your wife or your child is a threat to the economy simply because of the passport they hold or where they were born. The Trump administration claims that this is about welfare abuse or extracting money from the country, a move to stop immigrants from his America First doctrine. But let's look at the facts. The reasoning does not hold water. Under current law, legal immigrants are already barred from federal benefits for 5 years. And if this were truly about protecting the Treasury, the solution is simple. Require sponsors, which actually, in most cases with the green card, you already do need sponsors. People who are already American citizens or already legal residents have to vouch for you and promise the government that if you can't afford to take care of yourself, they will cover for all your expenses. I know this because 25 years ago or so, I did it. My first wife is from the Dominican Republic, and I had to learn this whole process and go through the whole process to apply for a green card. And it's a tremendously complicated process. A lot of people, probably most people, use lawyers. I didn't. I did all the papers and everything myself, but it is not easy, and the requirements are strict, and you need to provide a whole lot of documentation already to show that you're not going to be a public charge, as they say. You're not going to be on any kind of welfare or require resources of the government to take care of you. That's already been the case for decades. If they wanted to change that, they could set income requirements or legislate higher asset thresholds that already exist. But instead, this ban hits everyone. It's a blanket ban. It doesn't matter. You could be already wealthy person in a country or moving into an already wealthy family. And it's a whole different argument over how fair or equal that is, or if that should be the policy, but it doesn't matter. This is saying that if you're from that place, Trump doesn't want you here. Even the spouse of a millionaire from a high-income friendly nation like the Bahamas is barred. Bahamas, population of the whole country is 700,000 people, not even 1 million people. I literally wrote the book on doing business in the Bahamas, and we'll put the link to the description if you want to buy it. My book is still for sale. It was, for a time, the #1 bestseller on Amazon in its category. My grandfather immigrated to the United States from the Bahamas in the early 20th century, around 1916, I think it might have been. He didn't go on any welfare. Even though he only had a second-grade education, he started a business in Miami and died rich. I actually have a friend right now who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He's from Europe, so this doesn't affect him. He's not trying to live in the United States. But his wife is Colombian. So I guess if they wanted to move to the United States, they'd be out of luck because Trump thinks they might go on welfare. So that shows you that they are liars or incredibly stupid or perhaps both. Hell, my wife is Colombian. So now she's ineligible because Trump thinks that we're going to be welfare abusers? No, the secret is that's not what this is about. It's about bigotry. That's the crux of it. This isn't about economics. It looks and feels like pure bigotry. We're shutting our doors to friends and allies. Why are we turning our backs on the Republic of Georgia? Sacartvelo? Why are we freezing out Colombia, Jamaica, Belize, and Barbados? These are stable, friendly nations. Why are we cutting ties with Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan? The Republic of Georgia, really? That place is amazing. I've been there, and hell, I'm tempted to want to live there. It's one of the most amazing places I've ever visited. Over on the Black Sea, I went through the country, places like Batumi, Tbilisi, Kutaisi, a truly, really a magical place. I went on business, and it wasn't a place that I ever really had on a bucket list or anything like that. I knew that the country existed, but I got to go there, and I'm so fortunate that I asked my host to allow me an extra week on my own to go throughout the country, and I did, and it was a life-changing experience. That's an amazing place. Go visit if you can. And then if we think about other places where the people are on our side, this ban slams the door on dissidents who are aligned with us from places like Russia, the people who are anti-Putin activists, or people who are in support of or have solidarity with Ukraine. People, dissidents from Nicaragua, where Ortega and the Sandinistas have kind of slammed the door shut on democracy. I was in that country quite some time ago. I was an electoral observer when Enrique Bolaños, the former president, when he won the election and beat Daniel Ortega when Ortega was still trying to claw back into power. And there are a lot of good people who have escaped with their lives. My personal friends, rest their souls now, Plutarco Pasos, Douglas Fajardo, their families. So many friends I have from Nicaragua and other places that are, Venezuela, for example, people who are sort of in the same boat. And so I take this personally when I think about my personal friends from Nicaragua, Venezuela, Jamaica, Belize, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan. I've been to Uzbekistan many times, multiple times, and I've made some, not many times, but multiple times, and I've made some amazing friends, friendly, hardworking people. Now, I'm a U.S. citizen, and I always will be, but I used to work as a researcher, well, I sort of still do, covering Latin America. I invite you to, if you're interested in these kind of things, subscribe to my Finance Colombia channel, where we cover the business environment in Colombia. And we also cover the services sector and the high-tech sector and developing economies around the world. Places like Uzbekistan, that's why I was there. Places like Georgia, that's why I was there. Rwanda, Kenya, South Africa, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago. But covering Latin America, covering South America, when I signed up for the Colombian equivalent of a green card, because I'm a journalist and I've covered the country for over a decade, they made it easy on me. I had to do the paperwork and everything like that, but they welcomed me with open arms. And now my own country is screwing them. So let me also be very clear about this. I'm not in any way talking about or defending illegal immigration. That's not what this is about. This is entirely about legal immigration. This ban only affects people who follow the rules and file the paperwork, doing things the right way. So you see some dupe out there who thought that this was the administration was going to crack down only on illegal immigration. Well, you suckers just got played. Now the mask has come off and you can see the real face of these nativist bigots. So anyway, at this point, I cannot help but to bring up my favorite question. And then what happens? The blowback could be catastrophic. By targeting these nationalities, we're inviting hostility. We are practically begging countries that are close allies or that have been close allies with strong cultural ties to the United States, like Colombia and Jamaica, for example, to turn their backs on us in reciprocity. We're dealing with an adversarial Russia and China, But Trump's giving the middle finger to countries like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan. Uzbekistan has been trying hard to build bridges with the United States. If you don't believe me, watch my presentation I gave on the country. If we can, I'll include a link here on the screen. But I've worked with colleagues in Uzbekistan who have been reaching out to the United States to build those ties. Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan have turned their back on Putin at their own risk because Uzbekistan is a little bit safer because there's kind of a buffer. But Kazakhstan is right there bordering Russia, and they have taken risks to do this. But beyond diplomacy, we're committing economic suicide. We're voluntarily cutting ourselves off from half the world's talent. Scientists, engineers, and doctors rejected not because of their skill or lack of skill, but because of where they were born. It's not just dumb, it's a betrayal of American values. And for suckers out there who still believe all of this America First BS, 70,000 children and spouses of U.S. citizens are currently waiting in illegal limbo, caught in a snare of national origin discrimination that Congress specifically tried to outlaw decades ago. So if this is about taking care of or prioritizing U.S. citizens, their own children and spouses are now screwed. So as the world watches the shining city on a hill, as Reagan called it, is dimming its lights, locking its doors, closing its gates, trading its status as a global leader for a policy of isolation, prejudice, and nativism. Ronald Reagan would not recognize his party today. Now, I'm not a big poetry guy, but I thought that now would be a good time to remind you of the new Colossus. It's the poem by Emma Lazarus on the pedestal of the Statue of Liberty in New York. It goes like this. Not the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here, at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she. With silent lips, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Interpret that as you will. This is E Pluribus Unum with me, Loren Moss. I invite you to subscribe and share your thoughts and experiences with me in the comments. Am I wrong? Tell me. Do you have any personal anecdotes? Does this affect you or someone you know? Do you agree with this policy even though it screws thousands and thousands and thousands of U.S. citizens? Stay with us as this story develops.